and this is a true off-grid conversion. What that means is you can drive to Mount Baker in the middle of nowhere, you can go to the desert, you can go to your friend's house, and you never have to worry about where your power's coming from, how well your heat's working, how much solar you're getting in. This bus is ready to take you wherever you want to go. First thing you'll see is the exterior shower. It's got both hot and cold bibs, so you can rinse your dog, your feet, and get into your nice clean bus. Next, we have exterior outlets. We like to put USB ports in case you ever want to charge your phone or plug in a speaker while you're camping. If you're walking around, you'll notice this paint. It's a metallic paint. It's awesome. It's a Emron custom color, and it was color matched to a Jaguar color. I absolutely love the metallic. It looks awesome in the sun. Next, you'll see we have our water inlets. We have our city connection, so you can plug right into a hose and have unlimited water for the duration of your stay. And up top, you have your gravity-fed water. In here, tucked away, is an onboard battery tender for your starting battery, and also your freshwater drain disguised as a hose bib. So you can go ahead and use this as a hose or to drain your tank in the winter. Next is your 30 amp shore power connection. And around the front is probably my favorite feature. We went ahead and took the air compressor fitting and snuck it in here. We hooked up a quick disconnect fitting, so you can go ahead and connect your air hose, pump up your rafts, your inflatables, and even car tires, because it goes up to 120 psi. In the entryway, you can see we have seating for 1, 2, and actually 3, 4 when you flip this guy down. And there's also an awesome driver's seat area where the driver will have access to front and rear LED lights. He'll have access to a 360 bird's eye view camera, where he can actually see full around his bus as if he's a drone on top looking down. So you can see all of your blind spots, and there's no more worries while on the road. We also have a entryway closet where you can stow all your coats, shoes. On this side, you'll see that we have all the electronic component access, your fuses, disconnect switches, anything that you might need to touch when winterizing your bus or checking on the status, such as your battery bank level, is right there and easy in plain sight. Next is the dining and kind of the gathering area. There's a dinette on either side, one big one, one small. You can fit 5 people comfortably. You can also go ahead and pull out the slide outs to fit 7 people. You can connect the tables for a nice big eating area or a surface for maybe a puzzle. Then you can also convert these dinettes. So each one turns into an individual bed with a twin on one side and a cozy full on the other side. And they can both even connect together for a giant king-size bed. Super nice if you have company and they want to spend the night. In this kitchen, it's come stocked with basically everything you need to feel at home. You got your oven range combo, you got your deep sink, you got an apartment-sized refrigerator. You really don't have to skimp in this kitchen. You can bring everything you want from home and not have to think when you're at the grocery store to stay minimalist. The cabinetry in this bus is stellar. You got a ton of slide outs for all of your canned goods, dry goods, anything you want to bring, there's a spot for it. And even locks, so when you're on the road, no matter how hard you hit the brakes, these will never pop open and it'll never send your stuff flying. On the other side, you can see we do our best to try and think of everything and give the next guy access to all of the shower plumbing through a nice little panel. Coming along, we have more cabinets. Nice built-in shelving. A full oversized closet with not only hanging space, a light for it, but shelving in the rear. This bus has a stellar bathroom. It's a complete wet bath, so when you're cleaning, you can use a detachable shower head, get everything wet, no worries. It's got a composting toilet, so no black tank. A cute little vanity just big enough to brush your teeth and wash your hands. and then a giant rain head shower head for when you're taking a shower and looking out your epic views. In this closet, we have a washer dryer combo tucked away. And that's great for when you're truly staying off grid and you want to avoid those trips to the laundromat. This next cabinet hides a rifle-sized gun safe. Storage above it. And we already talked about the closet on the other side with even shoe storage underneath it. Since this is a 40-foot bust, we still have plenty of room for the bedroom in the back. Queen size bed, double nightstands, reading lamps, 2 exhaust fans, skylight, and your mini split air conditioner heater. So the most comfortable place in this bus is where you sleep, and that's how it should be. Safety features on this bus, a good thing to talk about because it's the last thing we tend to think about. But we always put a smoke detector in the bedroom and we put one in the main living space. And that gives you your peace of mind and safety at night, as well as having a fire extinguisher in the front in case anything ever goes awry, or if your cooking's like mine. This bus is sweet. I love it. And we have toe kick lighting, so if someone needs a nightlight when they're sleeping up front, they got their nightlight. And if you want additional cooking light, we have lights under the floating shelf, which is actually in this build super cool because this is made out of a live edge that the client cut down at his own house. So this was the house that all of his kids grew up in, and this is from a tree that they had to sadly take down, but it was one that all of his kids loved to climb, so it's a huge memory piece, and I was more than happy to incorporate it into this build. This oven is a Greystone oven range combo. They're awesome. They have a nice clean glass top so you can set stuff on it when it's not in use. Folded up, the glass actually acts as a splash guard. And you get your lighting for all of the knobs, as well as your oven lamp. Behind the oven, you'll notice a lot of switches and plugs. We provided a 12-volt switch and a AC outlet on both sides of the kitchen, as well as the on-off switches for each of the LED lights. In all of our builds to date, we've used Robotic Sinks. I absolutely adore these. They give you a grate at the bottom so that you can lean your dishes in there and have them stand up. A strainer so that you can use them for rinsing vegetables, or even I like to stack my plates in this strainer, so if I'm driving and forget about them, they don't go flying. And they also come with a nice cutting board top so that you can create another workspace when you're not using the sink. On this side, we did a kind of a neat custom cabinet. We wanted to create as much counter space as possible. And since the dinette already came out to this distance, we made our cabinet come out here as well. This gives you additional storage in the Lazy Susan style cabinet, as well as a giant countertop to work on. These dinettes are awesome. They're on standard RV table legs, which means that each of the tables can spin. If you're trying to share meals, you can swap them, or you can connect the tables to create one big tabletop to seat your entire family or all your friends. Up in the corners, you'll notice we have a lot of little shelves. So these are not only cool and made with that same live edge, but they also cover certain things. So when you're making a school bus, there's certain spots where wires will just have to stick out, where copper tubing from the mini split will show, and you want to find a creative, cool way to cover them. So a couple of these are actually notched out in the back and allow for us to hide wires or cables in them. So they're not only stylish, they're functional. All of our lights in this bus are on 12-volt dimmers. So if you're hanging out at a campsite at night, you can go ahead and turn them all the way down and still have your curtains open without feeling like such a fishbowl. Directly under me is hidden all of the electronic components for this bus. So I absolutely love the brains of this bus. This uses roughly 2,500 watts of solar up top, the alternator or shore power to charge the battery bank, and this battery bank is 8 100 amp hour lithium battle-borne batteries. With that, the solar charge controllers, and I say plural because there's 2, in case one goes down, you still have another one during that zombie apocalypse. They sit under here, as well as your Sterling charge controller that uses your alternator that charges your starting battery to convert the power to properly charge your lithium batteries. And it does that so without damaging them, without interfering with anything. Sterling component is really an awesome, well thought out mechanism. In addition to that, we use a links distributor, so that's not only a bus bar, but it also incorporates all your mega fuses, so all the components are protected by the proper fusing and cable sizes. This battery bank is kind of neat. It's actually wired to be 24 volt. Since this is a bigger system, it makes more sense to use a 24 volt system. It downgrades your cable sizes and allows for you to get more power through with less heat generated, smaller wires, and more efficient components, faster charging, the list goes on. I love the 24 volt systems for big buses like this. Like we're running air conditioning off of solar, and yes, it's 100% possible, especially if you're in the right conditions, which so happen to coincide with when you want air conditioning. So this 24 volt battery bank has a step down to run all of our 12 volt components. And that's important because 12 volt is going to be your most efficient use of power. 12 volt power is super cool. Since most of us are used to living with AC power in our house to power our fridges, air conditioning, lighting, a lot of times we don't think about how many things can be powered off of 12 volt DC. So in the bus, we actually have not only our lighting and small devices charged off of DC or powered off of DC, we also have the refrigerator is full DC powered, like no propane, no AC, clean and simple, the most efficient use of power you can have, powering your refrigerator. It also powers the oven lighter ignition, so you can auto light your burners. We use a Webasto as our main off-grid heat source because it uses a 12 volt power, which is super efficient. It barely takes any of that and just sits on your onboard diesel, which we tap off of the onboard, in this case, 100-gallon diesel tank. We ensure to keep it 4 inches off the bottom of the tank, and this means that you can only run that diesel heater until you're at a quarter tank. This is super important because if you're familiar with big rigs, if you run a bus out of fuel, it's a pain in the butt to get it primed again. With so much packed into a small space for this electronic system, we do have the front panels as grates so that it is self-ventilating. It's kind of neat how we source those. These grates are actually the original ceiling of the bus, and it's the primer side, which just so happened to perfectly match the cushions. You want comfort when you're off-grid. You don't want to feel like you're camping and getting more and more exhausted each day. You want to feel like you're living and thriving. And you can do this in a bus like this because you have a full kitchen to cook in. You have seating for guests if they want to come have dinner with you, and it converts into beds if they want to spend the night. And then you can pull away and drive wherever you want, whenever you want. This is freedom.